It's been a very special season as yet for Johnny Keefer, the 24-year-old. It's hard to imagine you could have a better professional start than what he's having right now, his rookie campaign on the Korn Ferry Tour. He's already put together in 13 starts the fact that he's number 2 in the Korn Ferry Tour points list. Obviously, that leads to a tour card on the PGA Tour at the pace that he is going. He's at 8 top 25s, 13 starts, 8 top 25s, 5 top 10s, 2 runner-up finishes, and already a win. That was at the Veritex Bank Championship in April. His scoring average is 3rd on the Korn Ferry Tour. He's absolutely on fire. And, oh, by the way, he's top 25 in distance, greens in regulation, scrambling, putting, birdie average, basically everything. That's why I said it's hard to imagine a better start. He's a Baylor alum. He turned pro all of last year. Johnny, welcome in the show, my man. How you doing? How you feeling about your game right now?
Pretty good. It's nice to be back for a few weeks and get the body reset. I had a long run, so yeah, it's been nice to be at home.
Has any of this run that you're on right now surprised you? Did you go out with the bravado of saying, no, I know I can do this, this is who I am? Or once you got out there playing amongst other fellow touring professionals, did you even surprise yourself at how well you're doing?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say that I wouldn't, that I'm not surprised, but at the same time, I am surprised of how, quickly it's come. I've been dreaming of this and I've been dreaming of playing in 2 majors and whatever, but I didn't think that it'd happen this quick, especially only graduating last May. So, yeah, no, it's been awesome and it's been a great ride.
What do you think it is then that has allowed you to perform such as you have? I know there's the hard work. I know there's a team you built around yourself. I know there's all these things. There's conviction, there's belief. But once you get out there, for you, are you the type player that when you get between the ropes, you're in your happy place and your heart rate goes down and your breathing starts to regulate and you find your ability to perform?
Yeah, no, I mean, that's probably 100% it. When the tournament starts, it's kind of weird. It's kind of flipped a switch, and I've noticed, I'll be a little bit anxious or maybe not, quite settled in, still learning the course. I might not play good in the Wednesday Pro-Am, but then out of nowhere, you know, on Thursday, I just start hitting better shots and, lock in a little bit better. Makes it more enjoyable when you hit good shots. So I'm having a lot of fun on the course, and yeah, it's been a blast, and I don't know where it really comes from, but as of the last year or so, and it's been a little easier than even in my college career.
What's your background with golf, Johnny? How did you get into it? When did you get in? What age was it? Talk to us about who brought you to the game.
Yeah, so I started golf around 11. I did some like small clinics and summer camps with my parents would sign me up, but I kind of got into it when my dad bribed me with lacrosse equipment. I was big in lacrosse. I loved it. I started lacrosse when I was around 4 and continued to play all the way through high school. And that's kind of how I got into it. My dad was like, "Hey, you need to learn how to play a life sport because lacrosse, I don't think you can move the same way you can right now when you're 40." So he was like, "You might as well try something that you could do for a long time and eventually play with your kids or play in your 40s, 50s, 60s, doesn't matter." So I got into that, and yeah, it's taken off. I did not expect or did not have the desire to play professionally all the way until maybe 15 or 16 when I realized, hey, I'm getting pretty good at this. So yeah, I'm very thankful that he bribed me with lacrosse equipment.
So when you were, as you just said, 15 or 16 years old, did you envision that you could make it at that time, that you truly could make this a career, that you could become a touring professional? And I guess that I know it sounds like a cliche question, but are you kind of living your dream right now?
I'm definitely living my dream right now. But I was probably delusional and didn't realize how good some of these professionals were at 15 or 16 years old. I really didn't have the perspective and understand, what it took to, tour and play on a consistent basis like these guys do. Even in college, I didn't realize, 9 of the last 10 weeks I've played. My body felt it. I work out, I do all the things that I need to do, but you're still gonna feel it after that kind of stretch. So, coming through college and understanding that, having a coach as experienced as Coach McGraw at Baylor, who's coached a ton of tour players, um, helping me understand that and understand what is necessary to play at this level was huge for me.
Do you separate yourself from Johnny Keefer, the golfer? In other words, I've talked to so many players over the years, thousands, that will tell me that, if they go out and shoot a 74, they're pretty dour, don't talk to me, I'm quiet for a while, blah, blah, blah. But the ones that are truly long-term successful are the ones that are able to slam that score in the trunk along with the cars, and then they'll pick up tomorrow with a new sense of hope. Where do you fall on that spectrum?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'd love to say that I don't really care what I shoot on the course because I think I've separated myself from just being a golfer. But at the same time, it kind of drives me. If I shoot a 74, 75, I'm ready to try and shoot a 63 tomorrow. I may not see it on the course, when you're trying to shoot a 63 out at Oakmont, I don't really think that works very well. But at the same time, no, I for the most part, I try and just go with the flow. Understand that golf is such a hard game, and if you go in it with a negative attitude, it's going to kick you right back in the butt and make you feel even worse. So, I try and go out there, try and have as much fun as possible. And yeah, no, I try and separate myself from my score. So, regardless, whenever I come off the course, whether I shoot 74 or 64, I hope no one really can notice that well. And that I can still have a good conversation.
What's your balance like outside of golf? What do you guys like to do? Are you like a beach person? Are you still playing some lacrosse pickup games when you get a chance? Or what's your life like outside of the ropes?
I think lacrosse is probably out of the question.
I
It's a
was
little too
wondering if your
physical.
dad would be
It's a little
horrified.
too
Yeah.
physical. Yeah, my dad would definitely be horrified. I've thought about it. I'm not a huge beach person. I'm also not around a beach. So San Antonio, Texas is pretty landlocked. There's some rivers that I can go hang out at whenever it gets hot and go float. But no, for the most part, I really like, fishing a little bit. I like going to play pickleball. I'm a competitive guy, so anytime I can get in a competitive setting, I really love it and enjoy it. So I'll go play pickleball with my friends. I'll you know, go screw around on the golf course. It's kind of fun to, go hit some crazy shots and but yeah, I like to take some breaks and maybe watch some movies and do all that stuff too.
Are you at a point in your career yet, Johnny, where you're reticent when traveling, say, in a plane, like somebody's really chatty, to tell them what you actually do? Or are you okay saying, yeah, I'm a touring professional? Because I've asked that question of like guys older than you that have been playing for a long time. And I've got a classic string of jobs that they claim to have. They try to come up with the most boring profession. They're like, I'm afraid to say what it is, so I offend somebody that's actually in that profession. But they try to come up with the most boring profession, so it cuts off that line of questioning from the person because they know if they tell them what they really do, it'd go on forever. So where do you stand on that? Are you straight up about it and go, yeah, I'm a touring pro, or you're like, yeah.
Well, I think when you dress like this,
Yeah.
you don't really pass off
Yes.
as an accountant. I have an accounting degree, so I can say that. You don't
All
really
right, fair
pass off as
enough.
an
Fair enough.
accountant. But I don't really try to avoid the questions. I understand that's kind of part of it too. But I understand it for sure. I've thought about it. I've thought about making up some crazy story and say that I don't even know. But I've definitely not tried to hide it. I enjoy what I do. I think it's an opportunity and it's a blessing to do what I do for a living. So
Sure.
anytime I can, share my story or talk to some people, I don't shy away from it.
Now, you intrigued me by the revelation that you took accounting, that you graduated with a degree in accounting. I'm amazed by that. Ironically, I studied accounting myself, and one of my sons is an accountant. And why? If you were convinced that your pathway is to become a tour pro, how did you have the discipline, or why did you have the discipline to study a major that was pretty intensive?
Yeah, it definitely was intensive. I think a little bit of just competitiveness. My high school had a ranking system, and I always hated whenever my friends would be ranked higher than me. And then kind of same way through college. I thought I knew that it was a challenging major, and I always prided myself on getting an education and having a backup plan. So you know, you never know what can happen in this sport. I could be on top of the world 1 second and then next second I lose it. So I've always thought, try and surround yourself with the best people. And I really enjoyed the people that I did, were in accounting classes with. And then, try to challenge myself academically. And I think a little bit of the competitiveness of, I had some friends in accounting that were doing really well. So I wanted to keep up with them, even though I was in golf and yeah.
It's incredible, actually. I want to gauge your competitiveness for a second. So, when you're in the gym, elliptical, treadmill, or bicycle for cardio?
Ooh, probably treadmill.
Okay, so you're on the treadmill. You're 24 years old. Somebody comes on the treadmill next to you, roughly your same age. Does it automatically become a race? Are you trying to make sure that you're? I can see you shaking your head.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I definitely would. They wouldn't know it. I wouldn't say it,
Of
but
course.
I'd probably stay there a little bit longer than I should. I'd probably go a little faster than I should. I'd probably be looking over a little bit more than I should. So yeah, it would probably become a race.
I understand. It's all good. Now, I want to touch back on something else that you did. You pointed to your shirt, your polo, because of the sponsors on it, because it's a Penguin shirt, etc. First of all, let's take me through your sponsors, and then you and I can talk about your relationship with Penguin as well.
Well, I like to say that I look like a NASCAR driver with all the sponsors all over everywhere.
Sure.
I've got a great support team between, I got in Midwest Performance Sports Cars over here, someone who's helped me since college, Insperity, Veritex, Veritex, there we go.
Yeah.
Primus, up here, and then Penguin, and then Waco Credit benefit. And it's been a blessing, to surround myself with some great companies and a great support team too, which is kind of what I've gotten out of all of these sponsors. A lot of times you'll have a sponsor and you won't hear from them or they won't hear from you forever. And I feel like I've gotten to build great relationships with a lot of these sponsors that I have, and um, they understand that I'm busy, but at the same time, I love to hear from what they would like from me, and then also just keeping relationships built and seeing how they're doing as people.
As far as those decisions go, certainly as a professional athlete, not only in terms of how you look, but in terms of how you're able to perform, your apparel is critically important. We're both wearing the Penguin on
Yeah.
our respective apparel. Could you talk to us about how you made the decision that Penguin was the apparel that you wanted to go with, and how you like the variety, the styles, the look, the feel, the performance?
Yeah, no, to be completely honest with you, I had only vaguely seen Original Penguin when I had first, heard about them. I didn't know much of their styles, and then my agent sent over a few shirts. I looked at some of the designs. I was like, "Whoa, this one's cool. This one's amazing." And then they came out with another style and then another style, and I continued to love and grow a love for how cool and unique some of the designs, and the feelings of the shirts are great. You know, it's I couldn't ask for much more. It doesn't matter if it's hot. It's you know, it's breathable. It's great. They've got some long sleeves that I'm in love with. They've got some hoodies, some you know, a ton of stuff that I just absolutely love, and um, they take care of me really good. So, you know, I couldn't ask for much more from a company that makes, you know, great apparel.
Yeah, it is very cool too. Like you were alluding to, it's not just about what we would wear on a golf course. It's complete lifestyle apparel. So it's really fun, and sneakers and everything else. It's got all the different things
Oh
that you could
yeah.
possibly want and need. The last thing I'll ask you for today, Johnny, it's clear that you have a joy emanating from you. It's clear that you're having a ball and having tons of fun doing what you're doing, and it's great, and it's showing in your performance. You've got all the things that make you the it factor in golf, and I think that your ascension is just going to continue to climb and climb and climb. But now that you're out there, now that you're in the world of golf and you're a professional and you play to be paid for what you do to make a living and all this association and all these sponsors and all the rest, you are the CEO of your own company, Johnny Keefer Inc., if you please. My question to you is, what do you want your message to the world to be? What does your brand stand for?
You know, uh, it's hard to have a, you know, a hook for my brand. Um, but for the most part, I just really enjoy what I do, and I think it's a blessing to be able to do this for a living. Not many can say that they have an office that's outside and that can change outdoors all the time. Um, and every week is a different opportunity, regardless of whether I'm playing good or bad. So, you know, going out every single week, understanding that I'm blessed and it's an opportunity to, you know, go compete and play against the best in the world, um, and have some fun is the most important thing for me. So, you know, just understanding that and having everyone else understand that, you know, I'm playing a game for a job, playing a game for a job, and um, I'm really blessed.
Yeah, that perspective of fun, the embracement of joy, the embracement of gratitude, no doubt it's got a lot to do with, and your competitiveness, incidentally, has a lot to do with why you are so madly successful already this young in your career. Thank you very much for your time, my friend. We wish you the very, very best and continued success.
Thank you for having me on.